Good morning, Bahamas. This is your daily Bahamas headlines with your Nassau Guardian News Brief for Friday, November 28th, 2025. Please don't forget to like, share, and follow our Facebook page and our YouTube and WhatsApp channels. Top story: air and sea arrivals up. The country is experiencing a surge in tourism. Deputy Director General of Tourism and Aviation, Dr. Kenneth Romer, says air and sea arrivals are up 9.5% over last year, with Grand Bahama seeing a 22% jump in stopover visitors. The government is moving ahead with over $500 million in airport upgrades across the islands, a part of the Family Island Airport Renaissance project. Romer says the improvements are not just about infrastructure, but about creating new economic opportunities. CCA retains ownership in Bahamas. In other news, a major development in the long-standing dispute over the Baha Mar project. CCA announced that under a new agreement with BML Properties, all claims in both the Bahamas and the United States will be withdrawn without any admission of liability. Once approved by a U.S. bankruptcy court, CCA will retain ownership of its Bahamian hotel properties. F&M should be proud of Pintard. Former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram is praising the F&M's performance in the Golden Isles by-election. Despite losing the seat, the F&M captured 9 of 17 polling divisions. Ingram said F&M leader Michael Pintard ought to be very proud, adding that he does not expect an F&M convention before the general election next year. OPM defends civil service salary. The Office of the Prime Minister is defending the size of this week's civil service pay adjustments. Director of Communications Latre Roming says lower-level workers received the largest percentage gains, including a 27.5% increase for minimum wage M6 employees since 2022. Trained teachers received nearly 20% more in pay. Roming noted this is the first government-led salary review in over 20 years and the fourth straight year of pay increases. Urban Renewal distributes 70 food packages. The Ministry of Urban Renewal observed Thanksgiving with a massive food distribution event at First Baptist Church. 70 families from Ingliston, Tall Pines, Bamboo Town, and surrounding communities received food boxes. Minister Keith Bell and MP Dr. Taunt said the need is real and the impact is significant, especially for families facing difficult times. Bahamas builds momentum in Asian markets. The Bahamas has completed a highly successful promotional tour in Hong Kong and Shanghai, showcasing the nation as a global financial services hub. The tour featured an oversubscribed Bahamas Asia Forum, a major role at STEP Asia, and the highest-rated panel at the Shanghai Financial Summit. Local brands such as Tasty Teas, Bahari, and Tiff Bahamas were also highlighted. Women in Policing, highlighted at Interpol, Commissioner of Police Shanta Knowles addressed the 93rd Interpol General Assembly in Morocco, speaking on the importance of women in leadership. She shared her experience as the first female police commissioner and called for global support to empower women in policing. Sands donates $2,000 to the Cancer Society. Sands Brewery has donated $2,000 to the Cancer Society of the Bahamas through its annual breast cancer awareness campaign. The donation was raised through sales of Sands Pink Radler, Sands Passion Radler, and Caribbean Rosé. The illusion of the Golden Isles by-election. Today's editorial argues that the PLP's by-election victory may not reflect its true national strength. With turnout at just 49% and Pickstock receiving hundreds fewer votes than Von Miller in 2021, The Guardian warns that the 2026 general election could look very different. The editorial notes that cost of living issues may define the next national vote. Letters to the editor. Letter 1, Arinthia Komalafe. Komalafe argues that low turnout and a narrow win should worry the PLP. She notes that more voters voted against the PLP than for it, and that the by-election offers little insight into 2026. Letter 2. Clark says the F&M must stop focusing on criticism and instead present fresh solutions, focused on transparency, economic empowerment, safety, and modernization. Letter 3. Brent Dean writes that while the F&M lost, its performance shows it remains competitive. He calls on the party to study voter apathy, address Khoi voters directly, and offer big ideas that can change lives. This day in Bahamian history, November 28. On this date, historical records note post-harvest community gatherings across the islands, a time when early Bahamian settlers prepared for the winter trade season and shared resources among communities. And that's your Nassau Guardian Morning News Summary. You've been listening to the Nassau Guardian Highlights, brought to you by your Daily Bahamas headlines for Friday, November 28, 2025. Have a safe, productive, and positive day, Bahamas.